Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. You're joined with myself, Mary Kate Love, and Katherine here from the Supply Chain Now team. We're doing our second installment of the marketing edition of Supply Chain Buzz this Monday. So you'll see kind of a mix of supply chain news and marketing news and things that caught our eye this last week that we think are important for you to know. So, Katherine, why don't you introduce yourself? I'm sure most of the audience knows you, but just in case.
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. I'm Katherine Hintz. I'm the Director of Customer Experience here at Supply Chain Now, and I'm usually behind the scenes for all of our shows. So it's so exciting to be in front of the camera today with Mary Kate, and I'm excited to kind of give you our marketing content perspective on some of the things that are happening in supply chain, and not to give it away, but mostly retail in this episode.
Yeah, a lot of retail. That's what's been coming up lately. I think that's something everyone is interested in, right? And it's really a way where we can see supply chain innovation as both practitioners and in our daily lives. So I always like to talk about retail. But before we get started, we have to give a shout out to Scott and Amanda, who's typically Scott is in the seat here, obviously, but he is on an Alaskan cruise. So we're wishing them well. We're super excited to see more pictures. We're a little bit jealous, but we know that they've had an awesome trip so far, and Scott will be back in the seat tomorrow, I think, right, Katherine?
Oh, yeah. So thanks for watching, Scott, and I hope that your coffee is good. I hear that the West
There
Coast
he
coffee
is.
is a little bit better than what we can get in the South sometimes.
Yeah, it's coffee time on the West Coast for sure. For us, Katherine and I are both in Central Time. It's kind of getting towards lunchtime, so we're just starting to think about that. So lastly, just don't forget to subscribe, supplychainnow.com/join. That's our easiest link that has everything from signing up for our newsletter, from listening to our shows, watching on YouTube. So that has everything you need there. We have just a few quick announcements. Katherine, if you want to kick us off, and then I'll talk a little bit about with that said.
Yes, of course. So this is not the only show that we have this week. So you can tune in on Wednesday for an exciting webinar with our friends at Bastion Solutions. And then on Thursday, we have another great webinar with Coupa, and we'll be able to paste those links in after. So if you're listening and you want to RSVP to join us, I promise you, you will not regret it. These are going to be two really informative sessions. And they're also going to have some really clear takeaways for you to go back to your daily work and know how to improve your supply chain experience as practitioners and providers. So it's going to be really exciting.
Awesome. And on that note, subscribing to our newsletter with that said, that Scott writes almost every week. It's a really unique newsletter in that it's written by Scott fully from his perspective. It also pulls in all of our upcoming events or interesting tidbits from our shows from the previous week, which I always personally love because even if you listen to the show, you might have missed something. And Scott tends to pull out that knowledge, put it in with that said, and you can read it and sign up for any upcoming events. So check it out on our Supply Chain Now LinkedIn company page, and you can also subscribe to it via email. So both ways.
Yeah, great.
All right. Are we ready to
Can we dive in? What do you think?
dive in? Again, this is kind of a mix between our passions, which are supply chain and marketing. So hopefully you're as excited about these stories as we are. And we're looking at the comments here too. So if you are commenting, we're going to be looking in and pulling in some of your thoughts and ideas.
Yeah, we have T squared with us. T squared, I hope that you're okay with us this week and not Scott. But hopefully we can bring on some nourishment from maybe a different point of view. And then we also have Edgar here with us. Hi, Edgar. Thank you for tuning in. And awesome. I think we'll start diving in on some key trends and what we see happening in the marketplace.
Yeah, and so just on that note, the trends that we've seen, so all of our news stories, again, are a little bit different, but if we kind of boil it up and see these high-level trends is people are continuing to reach customers in new ways. That's everybody is trying to reach customers in new ways. So we'll talk a little bit about some of the AI automation, creating personalized content to reach new customers. We're going to talk about community building via influencers and celebrities. tale as old as time, right? Use a celebrity to reach people, but we're seeing new and improved ways of doing so. And then we're going to talk about something very supply chain related in the retail space, which is reverse logistics.
Yeah.
So that's a topic that kept coming up on some of the retail news that we've seen. So high level trends, again, we'll start off with this influencer and celebrity marketing, which is personally one of my favorites. I am a Bravo fan. I am a former Jersey Shore fan of all. I love all reality TV shows, most reality TV shows. And as we see influencers create these larger and larger followings, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers, we're seeing partnerships that, in my mind, are very creative in reaching a brand new target audience. So we don't expect this to stop. The trend is showing that we'll see more and more influencer partnerships in 2024 and beyond. And really the sentiment about this is this always works as long as kind of the morals and values of the brand line up with the influencer, right? Exactly. If it's something that seems off, or if it's something that seems like, why is this person talking to me about health when I know this is what they do every weekend, right? Then that's when people kind of throw the flag up and say, hey, this doesn't make sense. It's not going to work.
Exactly. And I think that that's one of the reasons why it's so important as a company, or even just as an individual at this day and age. We all have digital footprints. We can all be micro influencers in one way or the other. So to know your personal brand ethos and identity, and then your company's brand ethos and identity, it really helps you figure out in a more timely manner the right partnerships to look for and the right impact that you want and who you want to be associated with. Because I think we are seeing the reach of these influencers and celebrities get to huge levels with stuff like the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift and bigger people. And then we also see the rise of folks that are micro influencers that are partnering with smaller brands, and it's a mutually beneficial experience. And so I think that making sure that you're leading with authenticity and you really believe in who you are and who you're presenting to the greater marketplace, and then what the company you're partnering with is doing too, like you said, MK, is paramount to these partnerships really being successful.
Yeah, and I love you talking about micro influencers, because we talk a lot about that here at Supply Chain now. Supply Chain has a lot of micro influencers and people that have their own niche that speak about a topic within supply chain that they know so well. And we love working with those people because they really have a captivated audience and people trust them. So the trend is going more towards micro influencers versus, celebrities with hundreds of millions of followers, if you will. And so when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about who are my latest favorite that I would give an award to.
Yes.
These marketing partnerships. And I have 3.
Okay,
and
I'm ready.
And I hope you like these ones. I think you will. And I'll explain who they are, because if you don't watch reality TV shows, you might not know. But number 1 is Lindsay Hubbard, who's a reality TV star of Summer House on Bravo. She had a partnership with Clear Blue, which is a pregnancy test in the market that claims to be, the best pregnancy test, can tell the earliest. And what I love about this is Lindsay is a woman in her 30s who has, over the years, shared her fertility journey that she's gone through, a lot of different things in her fertility journey. So she's someone that people trust, that will share what she has gone through, good or bad, right? She froze her eggs. That was all on TV, right? She went through a miscarriage. That was on TV. And so now she's pregnant, and she announces her pregnancy with a partnership from Clear Blue, which I just love because, again, this is someone that viewers have seen struggle or share the journey through the past. And you have a large company like Clear Blue partnering with her on her pregnancy announcement.
I love that. And I mean, talk about showing your authenticity, right?
Yeah.
I think there is never a situation that you need a pregnancy test that there's not a sense of anxiety a little bit.
Yes, you're going to the best one.
That has so publicly shared the ups and downs. You want a reliable company. You want reliable results, no matter what you want that result to be. So I think that is such a beautiful way to share her family expanding, and to really Clear Blue did a great job finding a good partner to share their
Yeah,
story
like
with.
a great partner, a great partnership makes sense all around for both of them, right?
Yeah.
And it's somewhat kind of the same. My second one is Jimmy Darts. So he's a YouTube, TikTok influencer who's known for basically random acts of kindness. So finding strangers, whether it's taking them to Disney World or giving them $1,000, whatever it is. So you can imagine why he's popular. It's really a feel good type of channel that he has. And so he partnered with Choice Hotels to give away 2 trips. And so, that lines up with exactly what Jimmy Darts would do anyways. Choice Hotel kind of gets their name and brand out there and is associated with this person that makes everybody feel good, right?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I love traveling. I love going on trips. I love staying in a hotel, but I think that there sometimes can be this undercurrent of like stress when you're planning. And so the
Yeah,
fact that they partnered with somebody that is trying to spread so much joy and kindness and probably a lot of relief to these people too, there's definitely a psychological undercurrent of like
for
ease
sure.
in that. So that
Yeah.
was very smart on their part.
Super smart, super
Yeah.
smart. And again, this is really just giving examples of ways that companies are reaching their audience. So obviously, in supply chain, reaching audience when you've got a very niche tool that can save people time, that can solve their problems, it's thinking outside the box, right? Partnering with different people, conferences that reach this audience of yours. And so the third one that I think is probably the most popular one that people have heard about is Snoop Dogg and Solo Stove. And so this is when Snoop Dogg said, I'm giving up smoke, right? And
Yes.
then waited 24 hours and talked about, he was actually saying it with Solo Stove, which is a fire pit essentially that does not have smoke. And I can attest it works. My parents have one. It's awesome. You don't go inside smelling like smoke. It's really a great product, but I feel like everyone was talking about this partnership just being genius, and I love it.
I definitely think that hearing that come out of Snoop Dogg's mouth, everybody was like, this has got to
Hang
be
on a
something's
second.
going on
Yeah.
here.
What's going on? What's going on? So, yeah, those are our top 3 celebrity influencer partnerships. And Catherine's got kind of a big marketing / supply chain story that we'll talk about next.
Yeah. So, kind of going off of the influencer and celebrity marketing stuff, I can say that we're about to talk about Amazon Prime Day. And I think that in relation to those first stories, we've reached a point where there's so many influencers and there's so much affiliate marketing and there's so much endorsement of reviews that I can say for myself when I go to buy stuff, like when I'm researching for Amazon Prime Day, I'm looking at influencers and
Yeah.
I'm looking at people that I can tell I've heard them say maybe negative things about products before. And if they say that they like something, then I'm much more willing to buy it because so often I'm really glad they had to start disclosing when it's like paid comments and reviews on stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I would be curious if any of our listeners feel the same way, that they have like certain people that they go to when they're researching stuff to buy.
Right. Someone that isn't just going to do all the partnerships and push everything, right? And they probably make an Amazon list and you probably follow the list and add
Oh,
it
yeah.
right to your cart.
Exactly. I may or may not have a couple different like Anthropology home dupe lists
Yeah.
that I
Free
follow.
people dupe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But to kind of get down to the details, Amazon Prime Day is expected to set a new record in the US for online spending. For those who don't know, Prime Day starts tomorrow, July 16th, and it'll go on the 17th as well. And the reports are predicting nearly $14 billion of sales over 2 days, which is a 10.5% increase from last year. And I think that this is really important to mention because a lot of retailers are struggling to sell certain types of products like appliances, home goods, clothing, and Prime Day is really going to help boost those sales.
Mhm.
And I think it is really interesting because as a consumer, as someone that shops a decent amount, I can say that I am guilty of waiting until Prime Day or
Yeah.
waiting until I know that there's going to be a sale. And I don't know if I've really thought about the impact that that has on retailers. That if
Yeah.
I'm waiting or I'm classifying things as like, these are the types of products that I'm willing to pay full price on. This is what I'll actually buy from Free People, or I'll actually buy from, KitchenAid. I don't want the Amazon knockoff of it. Then what's going to happen after time for all of those retailers if everybody's waiting for sales to happen?
Man, that's so interesting, because I'm thinking, Katherine, wow, Amazon Prime Day is changing our shopping behavior and habits, right? Like July typically isn't a huge spending time for me, at least. Obviously, November, December, that's typical, right?
Yeah.
But because I always know it's coming around this time, I start to build lists of things that I would buy if it's on sale. And I know a lot of that is just a mental, I think I'm getting a good deal, so I better buy it right now, right? And so I think that changed. It's such a large marketed event, and it's even the way they market it is they don't release the date, right? Until so it's like this really smart marketing approach where everyone kind of knows it's coming, and people are like, get ready, and
and they're getting the illusion of cash, right? Because I know for me, I'm buying a bunch of furniture for my house right now, and I sat on those purchases. I had them in my cart, and I am waiting. And the same thing for some other retailers. There are places like Target. Circle Week was last week.
Yeah, I saw
Prime
that.
Day is this week, and
the Nordstrom sale, anniversary sale is this week.
They're trying to compete with everybody, and I know that it's probably really challenging. And I also know that I am still going to wait until it goes on sale to buy most of my stuff.
I know it. Yeah, we were looking at stats before this, and it said the average household spends $181, which that's really significant if that's the average. If you're buying big ticket items, obviously you're going to be going above that. But for the average household to spend almost $200 on this is truly wild.
Yeah. Man, I feel like, speaking of that, like the impact that this is going to have on supply chain and on reverse logistics is going to be really, really big. Because I don't know about you, MK, but I am the worst culprit of just buying a bunch of stuff and then returning it. Like,
I talk about this all the time on the show. I'm like, as a consumer, I'm terrible with it. And I know the impact on supply chain too. And this is why I'm always for solutions that are better about sizing and taking actual, I think the sizing across different brands is crazy. And so that makes it so hard on everyone, right, to know what size you actually are, even when they provide measurements, right? And also who measures all the time. We're not really doing that.
No.
But we saw a stat that said from Prime Day, they, no one puts out the exact numbers, but they estimate that 15% to 30% of items are returned. And so if you think about, what did you say, $14 billion in sales? That's a lot of returns to manage, to deliver, to pick up. And, you think about the inefficiencies this poses and how much money is lost during that. And this is just such a huge problem, and becoming honestly a bigger and bigger problem as people online spend much more than in person.
Yeah. And now I'm thinking too, and I didn't even consider this before the show. I do all of my Amazon returns at Whole Foods. There's one nearby my house, and I just take all my stuff and I use the little machine.
They throw it at them, and they're like, thanks.
Yeah. What kind of impact is this going to have on all of their third-party affiliates or vendors? Or even, I know Whole Foods is owned by Amazon now, but there's going to be
Kohl's does it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Kind of like backing them up with, it's like we've created this, I don't want to say unnecessary, but kind of this unnecessary strain on the supply chain. It's not a week before Christmas. It's not a week before a large holiday. And we've created this strain on the supply chain that has a lot of moving pieces, right? And I do think this reverse logistics trend is going to continue to grow. I think, Katherine, you and I were talking about, maybe on our last marketing edition of The Buzz, about how brands are kind of shifting to, they still have a brick and mortar, but the brick and mortar is for you to experience their product and say, like, okay, this is a product I'll buy. I'm probably not even going to buy it in the store because they might not have what I want in stock, but I'm going to go home and buy it online. So we're seeing that shift a lot more, where there's, everyone thinks, oh, brick and mortars have totally gone away, but not necessarily. They're more about the brand experience, but you're still shopping online.
Yeah.
So
I think
these
about that
reverse
with
logistics kind of scare me when I think about it.
yeah, when you think about like the clothing retail side of things, I not as much anymore, but I used to shop at Madewell pretty
Yep.
frequently. And their stores are always pretty lean. They don't have a million sizes of everything.
Yep.
They don't have every single color. And I'm wondering if that's kind of their experience too. Is it, I
People
know for
go
me,
just
I'll go
to,
to Madewell, I'll try
yeah,
on the jeans, and then I know my size. So then I'm just going to buy my size online
right.
forever, unless there's something specific that I don't know how it's going to fit. But
Yep.
that's so much easier than I was going through to donate some clothes this weekend. And the sizing for everything is, I mean, I have 6 different sizes for the
I
same
know, it's
actual
unbelievable.
shape of pants,
Right.
So
Yeah, and sometimes the same brand is not even the same.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't
Um,
know. I just think it's really changing the landscape and it's impacting
yeah,
so many different parts of it. And I think that the user experience and the aftermath of purchasing needs to be considered too. There's so much technology that goes
agree, yeah.
into Prime Day. And then, is your shipment like, have they made the tracking label?
Yeah,
Has it shipped? How do you like make sure you know when it's coming?
yeah,
And there's a lot of strain that happens, all of the traffic that hits those sites over the next probably week or so is going to be fairly disruptive. I'm sure there's
yeah.
going to be glitches and
It's a good point.
slowdowns. I'm sure that as much as they love to promise 2-day delivery, depending on where you
We
live,
all know Prime Day is
you're not going to get
the
it. You're probably
exception.
going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and T Squared is kind of saying exactly what you said. He said reverse logistics needs to be more in the business strategy. And that's right. When you're
Yeah.
creating and delivering a product, reverse logistics needs to be part of the overall strategy, right? We need to be thinking about it in business, and you need to understand the cost of that
Yeah.
to your business and who takes on that cost, right? Where are we eating that cost in the business? Are we deciding that it's a marketing cost? It's a way to get the product in the customer's hand, and the size might be wrong, but they're still going to buy, right? So I think that's a great point, and people are talking more and more about that for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we also saw, what you were kind of hitting about is that all this different technology, making sure that's tip top, right? Because we know this traffic is going to be insane on days like this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's also a good reminder to be kind to your delivery drivers. If
Yes.
they deliver your package to the wrong apartment building, I don't know where everyone lives watching the show, but it's very hot in the Southeast right now. So and I don't think a lot of the trucks have air conditioning
Oh
still,
man, it's hot up here in Chicago too. I feel like
Yeah.
this summer has been a hot one for sure.
Yeah. But
Well, yeah, that's Amazon Prime Day. Maybe Catherine and I can make a list of all the things we're buying on Amazon Prime Day and
yeah. Oh
share
my
it
gosh. We'll get
because,
one from Amanda too.
yeah,
Amanda's a
Amanda's got it.
fellow Amazon lover. So maybe
She's
that'll be
got a
our
cart
next,
full too.
with that said, article. We'll have
Yeah,
our retail picks.
it's a great idea. We'll put that in the with that said of all the deals we're getting. And it'll be a nice range because I've got babies and toddlers, so I've got stuff in there. Catherine, I feel like you're great with fashion, beauty, skincare, and Amanda as well. So we'll have it all covered.
We'll have a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And then sticking with the retail trend, we have some news about Costco to share.
Yep.
Yeah. So for the first time since 2017, Costco will be raising their membership prices. And MK has some stuff that she's going to share about how interesting their relationship with the supply chain is, but
Mhm.
I'll give y'all some insight on the actual membership changes itself. So this past Wednesday, they announced that they're going to be upping their annual membership fees starting in September for individual and business accounts in the US and Canada. So they'll pay $5 more. It'll be up to $65 a year. And then executive memberships will be $130, which is $10 more a year, which, doesn't seem like that much. But when you think about that there are 52 million paid members,
Wow.
that is a lot of, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty impressive.
2 million.
they also are putting a cap on the reward available for the highest membership tier. So basically, if you're a Costco membership, you can get a certain amount of cash back for your spending. So if you purchase, a couple of big items, you'll be able to see at the bottom of your checkout cart, your 2%
That's
cash
cool.
back reward is up to X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And now it'll be the maximum is 2% reward available for the highest tier members, and it'll increase from 1,000 to 1,250. And then about half of their memberships are that highest executive level, which I recently got a Costco membership. My family had one for a long time, but I finally decided that I was going to fly away from the nest and get
Yeah.
And I think that the executive membership was worth it because you get that higher cash back. And if you plan on making like a couple bigger purchases, you're going to want that.
It'll pay for itself. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I thought was so interesting, especially being in customer experience and success and marketing, is that over 90% of Costco members renew every year.
Wow.
So they are really doing something right with their customer retention strategies to think that 90.5% of their members renew every single year.
I mean, that has to be amongst some of the highest retention rates ever, right? And you wonder if this increase will have an impact on that, but something tells me probably not, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't had my membership long enough to know what the renewal process is like. Like maybe it's automatic and that helps, is that it just
I think it is. Like I'm pretty sure, because I have a membership and I don't remember ever renewing it. So
maybe they're hoping people won't notice.
Yeah, they won't notice, right?
Enough, they just won't even.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think Costco, we've always talked about, one thing that is always talked about with Costco is they always try to keep their prices low, right? There's the hot dog that's, what is it, $1.50?
$1.50, I think, yeah.
And the CEO is always saying it's not going to raise, right? And it's like you can't even really buy a bottle of water for $1.50 at this point anymore. So pretty amazing. I think to me, this increase in pricing is just a reminder that even the biggest and most successful organizations are feeling inflation and the rising costs of managing supply chain, amongst other things, right? And so I think that, I'm not super surprised about it. I think everything has increased. I hate to say it, right? But it's almost like as a consumer, we're so used to it, which is not good, because I wish we weren't used to it and we would cause more of a fuss when things like this happen, but we are so used to it at this point.
Exactly. And I think it is kind of hard because with companies like Costco, it's easy to almost feel like they're doing you a favor. So you don't want to complain too much because you're like, I'm getting this cash back. I'm getting wholesale prices.
Yes.
I'm like,
I'm buying in bulk. I'm getting
Yeah.
That's so
then
true.
You're like, is it really like $10 a year is an increase? But if I bought all of the stuff that I bought at Costco, at Target or Publix, or even Walmart, it would still be, easily double the price.
Gosh, I think about my diapers alone that I buy for the kids every month, and just it comes in bulk. It's obviously a great price, and just that alone is probably worth the membership in this household.
I buy my dog food at Costco now. And my dog is really big, so
right. He's huge.
He's really big.
But I think we talk about Costco supply chain strategy sometimes here, and how we love their approach, and obviously consumers reap the benefits of it. But a few things about their supply chain strategy and approach that you probably know, you may not know, is obviously they have minimal touch points, right? So products are often going directly from the supplier to the warehouse in the store, or directly from the supplier straight to the store, right? You've all seen the stacks in Costco where they're using their store as their warehouse, right? And things are moving around and moving off shelves pretty quickly. They also use a cross-stacking system. So items are transferred from inbound to outbound transportation with little to no storage time. Again, this is improving that inventory turnover. And so not having to hold that inventory, have that inventory take up space, the inventory is right on the floor, you're turning it over quickly. That is a cost savings to the customer, right? they also do limited SKUs. So they're really relying on high volume sales, instead of
Okay.
having, I don't know if you guys have ever bought deodorant from there, but you end up buying 6 deodorants. When would you ever buy even 2, So
Yeah.
they're really relying on you buying in bulk, not
Mhm.
giving you as many choices, but giving you good choices. So you buy that deodorant, right? And you
Mhm.
buy those toothbrushes, whatever it is, in bulk instead of, walking on the aisle at any other store and you have about 800 deodorants that
Yeah.
you can choose from, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to choose anymore.
Yeah, it helps with that decision fatigue of having
Yes.
endless options. Sometimes the best thing you can do is give your clients less options, like less
Yeah,
but
that's
higher
true.
quality options.
Right. There's something to be said about that too, I think, Catherine, is maybe that's why people love going to Costco so much.
Maybe.
There's obviously the free samples,
Yeah.
but it is kind of when you go to Costco, you're just like, boom, boom, filling
Mhm.
up your cart, feel like you got a good deal. You
Mhm.
kind of feel like they've done the work for you in terms of finding a good deal, keeping the price down, and even, I've noticed they have a lot of products with good ingredients in it too. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a strategic approach or if they just end up doing that because of their relationship with suppliers. But um, I think that is a bit about the customer experience, right? It's like we don't have that many choices to make in Costco. We just have to choose what can fit in our cart.
Yeah. Is Costco the real influencer here? Like they have,
Seriously.
instead of going on the
Wow.
Amazon shopping list, we just
They
go to their
pick what
house.
we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
There's
agree
something to
with
be
you about
said
the
about that.
ingredients. I am gluten free and I have like food
Yep.
preferences, for
Yeah.
my ingredients. And there's so many things that they have that you can buy in bulk that is just so nice. Just know I'm going to have gluten free crackers to eat
Yep.
my hummus with.
Yeah. You'll probably have enough for 6 months.
Oh, yeah. And for someone with dietary restrictions, it's so expensive. And
Yeah.
so it
That's
feels like
true. Yeah.
I'm really actually saving so much money when I do
Right.
that shopping at Costco.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And part of their approach too is those private labels. So we've all, heard hey, what is the Kirkland vodka,
Kirkland,
right? Everyone says is the same as Grey Goose, right?
yeah. Mhm.
So, there's a lot of products like that where it's just they go directly to the manufacturer, the supplier, and they have their own private label that people tend to trust. I think the Kirkland products are trusted. Again, you feel like you're getting this good deal. I think it's just generally a great approach. And kind of lastly on that list is their efficient packaging. Again, you're going to buy in bulk. So they don't have to pay as much in packaging when you're buying 6 deodorants, right? It's just all coming together. So I think there's a cost savings there as well.
I'm curious if there's ever been any studies done on the fact that Costco doesn't give you bags. You can ask for the boxes
Yeah.
that stuff came shipped
Yeah,
in.
isn't
And
that
I know
wild?
in a lot of places, and not in the South yet, but in a lot of places you get taxed for bags, or it's like
Yeah, we do
3 cents.
here. You pay for your bags. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
7 cents maybe.
Yeah. I think
So you do see in Chicago, I think people are like mad about that. So everyone's like carrying stuff out instead of just
I
buying
have
bags.
my reusable bags stacked up in the corner next to my
Yes.
door, but I'm
Don't you
curious.
forget them like at
Oh,
least every other time? I forget them all the time.
there are times that I forget it and it's in my car. Like they
Yeah.
make it to my car and then I
Yeah.
just get so
I
excited that I'm
know.
inside
I
and then I
know.
unload it into my car, into my bag so I can carry it
Yeah.
up to my
I
apartment.
know. We need like a reminder on our phone or something to tell us. But yeah, I think Costco again. It's just this really large retailer,
Mhm.
very interesting supply chain strategy that typically delivers cost savings to their customers, right? And they still are dealing things with inflation and business costs rising, and we see that in kind of the membership fee increase. But still, an overall great customer experience for sure.
Yeah, and to kind of tie all three of these stories together, it really does seem like buyers appreciate feeling seen and known,
Yeah,
right? And I think that's what is kind of a high point of all of these stories is that
yeah,
if you feel like you can relate to an influencer or you feel like a company like Amazon or Costco knows what you want before you have to ask for it, you're
Yeah.
going to give them your money if you feel
Right.
like. And I mean, there is some things to be said about labor practices at some of these bigger companies, but if
For
you feel
sure.
like you are getting deals on things that reflect your lifestyle and your preferences,
Yeah.
you're going to keep going back to those companies. And if you feel like even, you're able to plan and strategize and research these white labels and get, Grey Goose white labeled vodka as Costco,
Yeah.
or I know I have their shampoo and it's apparently the same as Pureology shampoo.
Ooh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so I really like it if you guys are looking for a new shampoo. It's really good.
Add it to the list. Yeah.
But I think that really making sure that everyone you interact with as a supplier or as anybody really in the greater business space, that your client feels heard and
Yeah.
appreciated, that customer experience is your customer retention.
Yeah.
Just kind of like here, T Square said it about Costco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. That's, I guess we were not making that connection, and that totally makes sense, right? Your customer experience is the reason for that retention, right? And it doesn't matter if your customer experience is in store, online, or how easy it is to return. That's still my customer experience. There are plenty of places that make it too hard to return that we won't shop at, right? So I think all of that, your customer experience starts with reverse logistics even, right?
Yeah.
So that's a great way to sum it up and kind of sum up our show too. I think that was all of our stories today. We hope you had a great time listening to our marketing supply chain mix of news stories. We like seeing these creative brand partnerships, these approaches in retail, what we can learn as both practitioners and I guess consumers in supply chain, right? So we hope you liked it. Katherine, do you have any final words, thoughts?
I don't think so. Happy shopping and
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck with
and
Prime Day.
enjoy Prime Day,
Yeah.
and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks everyone for listening to The Buzz. And yeah, we will see you hopefully at our shows this week as well.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.